As the old adage with trades goes, you have to give up something to get something. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, that principle came into sharp focus this offseason as they made one of their most aggressive roster moves in years, sending All-Pro safety Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Miami Dolphins in exchange for star cornerback Jalen Ramsey and veteran tight end Jonnu Smith. The move shook the foundations of the Steelers' defensive identity, not simply because they parted ways with one of the NFL's most respected safeties, but because of what it signaled about the team's vision for the immediate future. In the ever-competitive AFC, Pittsburgh is choosing boldness over sentimentality, restructuring both its secondary and offense in a way that suggests they're not content with just being good. They want to win now. Moving on from Fitzpatrick had to be one of the most difficult decisions the front office has made in recent memory. Since arriving in Pittsburgh, Fitzpatrick had become more than just a playmaker. He was the cerebral anchor of the secondary, a versatile chess piece who could roam the deep field, support in the box, and even cover elite tight ends in man situations. His instincts, range, and ball skills transformed the Steelers' defense into one of the league's most feared units. Letting him go was never going to be about talent or leadership. It was, as it often is in the NFL, about money and sustainability. Fitzpatrick carried a massive cap hit of $22.3 million for the 2025 season, and the financial strain of his contract over the next 2 years made it nearly impossible for Pittsburgh to retain him without sacrificing depth or compromising flexibility elsewhere on the roster. The Steelers' solution was twofold. First, they secured Jalen Ramsey, a 6-time Pro Bowler and one of the most dynamic cornerbacks of his generation, in a trade that also netted them Jonnu Smith, a capable pass-catching tight end with red zone value. Ramsey, despite nursing injuries over the past season, remains a premium player, confident, physical, and intelligent. He thrives in press coverage, can mirror receivers on the outside, and has even shown flashes of brilliance in hybrid roles. The Steelers clearly value what they received in the deal, as evidenced by the financials. Ramsey received a $1.5 million raise, bringing his 2025 salary to $26.6 million, while Smith was given a contract extension worth up to $12 million, a significant show of faith in his potential contribution to the offense. Yet, despite what they gained, the move leaves Pittsburgh in an unfamiliar and potentially precarious position at safety. With Fitzpatrick gone, the team is suddenly without a proven star at one of the most critical positions in modern defensive schemes. The middle of the field is more dangerous than ever, with tight ends, slot receivers, and pass-catching backs attacking seams and zones, and without Fitzpatrick, the Steelers must now look inward and outward to find a replacement who can bring even a fraction of his impact. Internally, the first name that comes to mind is Juan Thornhill, who signed with the Steelers earlier in the offseason. A former Super Bowl champion with the Kansas City Chiefs, Thornhill brings starting experience, speed, and versatility. He's more than capable of playing deep center field or matching up in man coverage against tight ends. However, even with Thornhill penciled into one of the starting safety spots, the question remains, who lines up next to him? The team has a few options, but none come without uncertainty. One possibility is to move Jalen Ramsey into a hybrid role that allows him to rotate between cornerback and safety, depending on the down and distance. This is not a foreign concept for Ramsey. During his time with the Los Angeles Rams and Miami Dolphins, he occasionally operated out of the slot and in safety alignments, using his size, awareness, and tackling ability to impact plays closer to the line of scrimmage. In theory, moving Ramsey to safety would allow Pittsburgh to get all three of their top cornerbacks, Ramsey, Darius Slay, and Joey Porter Jr., on the field simultaneously, maximizing talent across the secondary. But that move isn't without complications. Darius Slay, at 34 years old, is best utilized as an outside corner, where his technique and veteran savvy allow him to neutralize perimeter threats. Joey Porter Jr., meanwhile, is entering his third season and has firmly established himself as a boundary corner. He played this role in college at Penn State and has continued to excel there in the pros, though he remains a bit too grabby in coverage and needs to cut down on penalties. Neither Slay nor Porter is a fit for the slot or a safety transition, which means if Pittsburgh wants to run its best personnel, Ramsey must be the flexible piece. But playing Ramsey in the slot for extended snaps presents its own risks. The slot has become the most difficult position to play in modern coverage schemes. It demands elite quickness, anticipation, and the ability to diagnose plays in real time. The volume of routes coming from the slot, drags, slants, seam routes, option routes, combined with the increasing frequency of run-pass options, RPOs, and play action, make it a grueling assignment. While Ramsey can handle it physically, shifting him away from his natural outside role on a permanent basis may reduce his overall impact. If the Steelers choose not to move Ramsey into a hybrid safety role, then their next best internal candidate is Deshaun Elliott, a former teammate of Ramsey's in Miami and a player with starting experience. Elliott is a physical safety who plays with an edge and has proven he can contribute both in the box and in deep coverage. He's not as rangy or instinctual as Fitzpatrick, but he brings toughness and aggression, qualities the Steelers have always valued in their defensive backs. There's also Miles Killebrew, a veteran special teams ace and occasional safety fill-in, who could be given a chance to compete in camp for more defensive snaps. However, relying solely on in-house solutions might not be enough. Training camp battles are great, but they rarely produce elite replacements for all-pro talent. That's where the free agent market becomes crucial. According to CBS Sports' John Breach, the Steelers are actively exploring available safeties, and the list of candidates is both long and impressive. Chief among them is Justin Simmons, the former Denver Broncos star who has been one of the league's top safeties for years. Though Simmons is now over 30, his intelligence, tackling, and leadership would be a tremendous asset to a transitioning secondary. Julian Blackmon, Marcus Williams, Chuck Clark, Jordan Whitehead, and Quandre Diggs are also available, each offering different skill sets. Blackmon brings youth and explosiveness. Williams is a ballhawk with good range. Clark and Whitehead are physical and scheme savvy, while Diggs offers Pro Bowl pedigree and leadership. The Steelers have the opportunity to pair one of these free agents with Thornhill and create a new identity in the post-Fitzpatrick era, one that blends physicality with reliability rather than relying on a singular superstar. Of course, signing any of these players would require financial maneuvering. Pittsburgh has already committed significant cap space to Ramsey, Smith, Aaron Rodgers, and DK Metcalf. Adding another starter-level player to the mix means finding creative solutions and structuring contracts, possibly adding void years or backloading deals to spread out cap hits. Fortunately, Pittsburgh's front office has shown the ability to navigate these complexities in the past, particularly when motivated by immediate competitiveness. For head coach Mike Tomlin, the challenge is clear. He must reconstruct the secondary in a way that not only mitigates the loss of Fitzpatrick but also maintains the aggressive, physical identity that has defined Steelers football for decades. He will rely on defensive coordinator Terrell Austin to design packages that maximize Ramsey's versatility, deploy Thornhill effectively, and bring new additions into the fold seamlessly. Tomlin has always prided himself on coaching up his defensive backs, often turning mid-level talent into reliable starters. But this offseason presents one of his toughest assignments yet. There's no denying the upside of acquiring Jalen Ramsey. He's a game-changer, capable of tilting the field and making quarterbacks think twice. Jonnu Smith, while not an elite tight end, provides depth and flexibility in 12 personnel sets, offering a safety valve for Aaron Rodgers while the younger receivers develop. But the cost, Minkah Fitzpatrick, casts a long shadow. His absence will be felt, and how the Steelers replace his production and leadership may define whether they return to true contention or spend another season on the playoff bubble. With training camp fast approaching, the decisions made in the coming weeks will be pivotal. Do the Steelers double down on versatility and trust their cornerbacks to cover more ground? Do they invest in another veteran safety, hoping to replicate what Fitzpatrick brought to the table? Or do they gamble on youth and coaching to fill the gap internally? The only certainty is that Pittsburgh is all in on the present. With Ramsey, Rodgers, and a retooled offense, there is no room for half measures. And so, the Steelers stand at a crossroads, not in crisis, but in transformation. The Fitzpatrick trade was not merely a transaction, it was a statement. It declared that Pittsburgh is willing to embrace change, willing to spend, and willing to take risks if it means pushing past the ceiling that has contained them for years. Whether that bet pays off will depend not only on stars like Ramsey and Rodgers but on the unheralded decisions, like who fills that last safety spot, that define champions in January.